Social media footage shows crowds protesting in front of the offices of the Chinese real estate developer Evergrande.
Evergrande is one of China's biggest property developers. It has the biggest sales in terms of property sales in China.
In recent days, security has been stepped up outside its headquarters as the struggling company faces complaints from small investors, unpaid suppliers, and people unhappy that the homes that they purchased haven't yet been completed. In total, Evergrande owes more than $300 billion.
It's one of the most indebted companies in the world. Evergrande borrowed a lot of money, what we call offshore, in international financial markets. It's probably not going to pay it back.
Evergrande's massive debt problem has rippled out into global markets, with the S&P 500 seeing big swings. Beyond the potential default, international investors are particularly worried about what may happen next, as a big chunk of China's economy is linked to real estate.
If Evergrande fails and drags down the whole property sector, people worry if Chinese economy could develop at high speed, as it did in the past years.
More bullish investors think China could find a way to contain the fallout, but others are less certain that this can be safely diffused. This one company has got markets on edge, and its struggles could have big repercussions for global investors.
In recent months, Evergrande has been caught into one of the largest crises in its history.
For years, Evergrande raised a lot of its cash by borrowing billions of dollars from banks and investors, and pre-selling unfinished apartments so that it could amass more land and develop projects in over 200 Chinese cities. It has some 800 projects underway. But this year, its shares have lost about 80% of their value in just a few months. Problems started for the company when pandemic lockdowns hurt property sales, and when Chinese authorities said they wanted to fight speculation in real estate and announced rules that barred Evergrande from taking on new debt.
Many of its construction projects all over China has stopped. It started to face mounting pressure, complaints and protests from suppliers, contractors, home buyers, and small investors all over the country.
In this footage from Chinese social media, people can be seen asking for compensation. The Wall Street Journal couldn't determine the author of the video or the exact date of this particular protest, and this clip has since been taken down. These photos show small investors being surrounded by security as they try to enter the company's headquarters in Shenzhen. Evergrande has repeatedly said that it would try to reimburse people and resume construction. Evergrande's struggles are raising questions over China's property market.
Evergrande is such a big player on China's property industry. The property industry accounts for about 25% of the total economy. So if growth in that sector is eroded, we will see the macro economy under big challenges.
In a memo on September 21st, Evergrande's chairman acknowledged the issues that the company faces, but vowed to push through the pain. Wall Street Journal reporting found that Chinese authorities have asked local governments to contain the potential downfall of Evergrande, but the government has been reluctant to bail it out. And global investors are watching to see how this could affect this year's market rally.
The stock market has gone up a ton since the pandemic, especially in the US, and there's this sense of, well, what can make things go higher and what could go wrong.
Some investors think letting Evergrande fail would be a sign that China is serious about reducing debt in the economy.
People we talked to widely believe Beijing won't step in to protect shareholders or bondholders this time, but they might take some actions if they see social unrest spread or if they see financial markets being roiled heavily by Evergrande.
Cars today are far more complex than